Today we're going to start lesson 2 of the reference sheet of a calculator. Again, we're going to focus on multiplying and dividing today. And we're going to start with this problem right here, this -3 times this -5. So we're going to look at a little bit of multiplication. So this reads as -3 times -5. In math, remember those parentheses, if they're pushed together, that means multiplication. Other ways, multiplication is shown is, I write -3 times -5 like this with the x. I can go -3 dot -5, that also means multiplication. And also I can be like -3, that asterisk -5, those are interchangeable. The asterisk is actually on your computer. If you use like a PC, you'll see that asterisk on a computer. It actually does multiplication. Some food for thought that we want to talk about here to start with is, one thing is -3 is the same as the opposite of a 3. In other words, -3 is the same as the opposite of a positive 3. Remember, the opposite of positive 3 is actually -3, so these are interchangeable. Now, if I change this to math symbols, this sentence here changes into this math sentence. So I can still read this as -3 is the same as the opposite of a 3. So this equal sign also kind of means the same as or equivalent. It's got a lot of little different words for it. And I can say -3 is equal to the opposite of 3. I can say -3 is equivalent to the opposite of 3. Or I can say -3 is the same as the opposite of 3. Those are all meaning the same thing. Similarly, I can say -5 is equal to or is the same as the opposite of a 5. So these are interchangeable. So in math, when it gets to be multiplication, -3 times -5, what I can also do is I can change -3 to the opposite of a 3. Instead of saying times -5, what I can do is I can pull the opposite sign out and just put a 5 there. So -3 times -5 can stand for the opposite of 3 times the opposite of 5, and I can write it like that in my brain. So what happens here then is we can just focus on multiplying positive numbers. We know that 3 times 5 is 15. And then I have to do this opposite twice. So if I follow through here, the opposite of 15 is going to be a -15. But then I got to take the opposite of that. So what this turns into then is something like this. If I focus on this part, the opposite of 15 turns into -15. But then I got to take the opposite of -15. That's going to turn it right back into a positive 15. So -3 times -5 is the same thing as the opposite of 3 times the opposite of 5. So in other words, I have to kind of flip that sign twice. We kind of treat it like a light switch. Anytime we see this multiplication, one negative is going to flip it to a negative, a second negative is going to flip it back to a positive. So we kind of use this light switch thinking. And that's how we do multiplication without a calculator. So negative times negative essentially turns into a positive value. Also, we want to kind of talk about the order of operations. Remember, in math, when it comes to the order of operations, we multiply and divide from left to right. So we do those as they appear in the problem. So let's look at this example over here. If we want to simplify 12 divided by 2 times 6, one way of doing it is follow the order of operations. I could say 12 divided by 2 is 6, and then 6 times 6 is going to be 36. So I can kind of follow the order of operations. The wrong way of doing that is thinking you multiply and then you divide. We don't multiply then divide, we multiply and divide. So some people think you got to go 2 times 6 is 12, and 12 divided by 12 turns into a 1. That's the wrong way. That's not the correct way of doing the order of operations. It's multiply and divide from left to right. Okay. That's got it. We'll see you on the next lesson.